Hello everybody and welcome back to another video from HSTV. Now today I'm going to be talking about a really important topic actually, and this is the transition between high school to medical school. Now why should you listen to me? Well, if you're new to the channel and you don't know who I am, I have just finished my second year of medical school at the University of Edinburgh. So I think that I have made my way through that transition pretty smoothly, and hopefully I can give you guys some advice, some tips and tricks and things I wish I'd known before I came to medical school so that your transition can become as smooth as possible. So if you find this video useful, please do drop it a like and consider subscribing to the channel for more content just like this. Let's get on to it. Now, I just want to point out one thing before I get right into it, and that is that I didn't actually move city or move away from home. I think that's a completely different transition on its own, and unfortunately, I won't be able to give as much advice on that. So really, I'm talking about like workload today, the timetable, organization, that sort of thing, from a very high school, med school aspect. So if you're looking for advice on like accommodation and moving away from home and all that, unfortunately, I'm not the best person for that. Okay, so let me answer one of the biggest questions that I get asked all the time, and that is surrounding workload. Is the medical school workload a lot more than high school? The answer to that is yes. Medical school work is greater in volume. However, the difficulty is probably about the same as your advanced higher or A-level qualifications that you did at high school. The best way of trying to put this is that because there's so many changes happening around you with, if you move city, your learning style's changing, it's a new place, it's a whole new environment. When you combine all of that with the volume of work, things start to get a little bit tricky. And this is why I'm going to give you guys my first tip, which is on organization and timetable. The actual work at medical school is not conceptually that hard. There's degrees much harder than it. But it's the volume that you need to try and organize, and it's how you're going to manage the active recall so you don't forget things and you're not left to cram revise 2 weeks before your exam. So the way you do that is to have a timetable which you can sustainably follow. That's really important, sustainably follow. This is something that's not too ambitious, but something that meets the needs of your course. So don't, be studying 10 hours a day, every day, 6 days a week. Like, that's just not gonna happen, okay? But also don't do like 2 days of work a week, because that's also not great. So you need to leave enough time so that you have time for hobbies and socializing and grocery shopping or whatever you need to do, but also make sure that you get the week's work done within that week, because that's another big difference. Like at high school, they kind of spoon feed you the topics. They sort of tell you that, all right, so today we're gonna do this, then you go home and you're done, or you might have a little bit of homework and that's it, that you're done for the day. You don't have to think about organizing anything else. Whereas at medical school, you're just given this like week of lectures and told that you have to finish it. So you have to work your way around societies that you're doing, socializing, etc, etc. So make sure that you can write down a timetable, a set amount of hours that you think you can do every day, and you should be good, because do not, fall behind on work, because you get into the cycle where you're finding it hard to catch up, then you fall more behind, then you get really stressed, and then you keep falling behind. So please try to stay on top of your work. That's the number one tip that I would give. Okay, another big difference is surrounding note-taking. Note-taking is something that we love on this channel, and there's a really good video on this coming soon as well, I promise guys. So note-taking at high school and medical school is very different, because I know for most high schools, they give you a jotter and you kind of copy stuff off the board, or they'll give you some printed notes that you fill in the blanks, etc. Something along those lines, right? But at medical school, you're just given these lecture slides and that's about it. And during COVID especially, we had mostly online lectures. So we were literally just watching videos, and then how do we translate that into something that we understand, something that we can remember, and how do we make notes from that? So that was a big challenge for me when I moved. So how did I battle that? Well, the first thing that I would really recommend is to move to some sort of a digital note-taking environment. Okay, so whether that be on a tablet or an iPad, it will do you wonders for organizing, okay? I can't imagine having to go through folders and folders trying to find notes on a topic, okay? So try, if you can and afford it, switch to something digital. It's also great for like syncing stuff, and I've got loads of videos on that, but that is something for another day. So once you've switched to this digital environment, the first thing that I recommend you do is to annotate the lecture slides as you watch the lecture. And what that does is it helps to put things in your own words. It helps you to sort of consolidate things as you're listening rather than just staring at a screen listening and then zoning out half the way. If you have something that you're kind of making notes on as well, kind of keeps you engaged. So that's the first thing, you can annotate notes on your lecture slides. The second thing is, for those of you who do really love handwritten notes, and by the way, I was one of them people as well, okay? So my first semester at medical school, I did all handwritten notes, and that was just, was not efficient at all, okay? So really, I don't recommend that you do all handwritten notes from scratch, because most of the time you're just copying what's written on the lecture slides. So it's not worth it and it's not time efficient. However, what I would say is that you can make summary posters of the topics that you find particularly hard. And then use those summary posters to teach your peers. So this is my next thing. Make a little study group, maybe 4 or 5 of you guys, all doing the same course, all going for the same topics. You're all in the same boat, you all need to understand and revise for the same stuff, right? So what better way than to teach, okay? Teaching, I love teaching. Okay, teaching is such a great way of consolidating knowledge because you have to understand that thing so well that you're able to answer questions on it. And although no one is expecting you to be, doctor level knowledge, nothing like that, but it really does help to, it's a different style of recalling information and it really does help. So summary posters and teaching in a study group is another great way to revise. Okay, so another really important thing that I want to talk about that I specifically felt in my transition was that I always thought in my mind that medical school was this end goal for me. Like I never really thought beyond medical school. It was always like, get into medical school, do all these societies, do this volunteering, blah blah blah, okay? And I felt that once I got into medical school, I just sort of chilled for a while, and that's okay to do, definitely. Don't overwork yourself. But please still remember that medical school is just a part on your journey to becoming a doctor and beyond that as well. So although at the moment right now I'm thinking that my end goal is to become a doctor, I know that that will soon change and it will be to become a surgeon or to become a consultant, whatever, right? So remember that you still have a portfolio that you need to build. I really got into research, and that was something I wasn't into at all in high school. So I really got into research and specialties and, really looking into that sort of stuff, and societies as well. So if there was societies that you were doing at high school that you enjoyed and you were passionate about, please do feel free to continue them into university, because there will be something to match everyone's interests. I know that for sure. So yeah, please, don't just lie on your back and be like, well, we're here now, there's nothing else, okay? So stick to it, stick at it, and remember you still have a long way to go. It really is a lifelong learning journey, so keep that in mind. Okay, the next very important thing that basically no one talks to you about is your mental health, and I can't stress how important this is, okay? I know a few decades ago, at least when I was a lot younger, no one really talked about mental health. It just wasn't a thing, okay? But you have to remember that everything has to be okay up here and good up here if everything around you is going to be working okay, right? So although your physical health and all that is very, very important, your mental health is almost more important, okay? So if you ever feel that you are going through a stressful time, whether that be with your health, family, other personal reasons, or just the workload getting too much and you're falling behind, whatever that stress may be, please do address it. Ask for help, get in touch with your university as well. Student well-being is fantastic at Edinburgh, at least. I'm sure it's a similar case for other universities as well. But please do address that issue. The first step is to know that there's a problem going on that's limiting you, that's stopping you from doing great things, okay? And once you've got that, please do address it, try to solve that problem, and try to keep up here as healthy as everywhere else. Okay, another thing is that when you move to medical school, you will very quickly realize you are a small fish in a large ocean. You are quite literally thrown in the deep end, and no matter how much I talk to you on this video or how much your teachers or your parents explain stuff to you, you will feel the jump. okay? And one of the best ways of getting through that is to have some good friends, to make some good friends, to make some good contacts, and have a really good kind of support network beside you that, you know, when you've got this really stressful day where you can't find the motivation to revise, you can go to your peers and you'll find that they are pretty much in the same situation as you, and it's normal to feel that way. So please, especially in a career like medicine, which is so busy, sometimes very academic as well, it's really important to know that there's a lot of people out there who are just like you, and that it's okay to feel like that sometimes. Alright everybody, so I think I'm gonna wrap up the video. That's kind of all I had to say about the transition between high school and medical school. As I said before, it is a big jump, you will feel it, but trust me, you will get through it, just like I have. And if you do still feel anxious or you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me. You can comment down below, or you can follow me on the HSTV Instagram at HSTVofficial. You can DM me on there or email me as well. You'll find all the links to that in the description. And yeah, I hope you have a very smooth transition if you're joining medical school in September. Congratulations on your offer. It is a really great course, genuinely. Like, I think if I'm like weighing up the benefits and the pros and cons and things, I think there's a lot more pros than the cons, but obviously nothing is perfect in life. There will be ups and downs, but do know that everyone is in a similar situation. So don't feel too worried, and yeah, I will see you in my next video, guys. Goodbye.